Okay, for this video, I'm going to review percent change, things going up or down, basic exponent rules for multiplying, dividing, and raising a power to another power, solving literal equations mixed with x and y, solving for the single variable y, and then complex exponent rule problems. So here we go. Percent change. The formula is change divided by the original amount. So always find how much something is changing divided by the original starting amount. So if I look at this first one from $4 to from $4 to $12, that went up by 8. I could get that change by subtracting the two numbers, subtracting that 4 and that 12. If I take 12 minus 4, that will give me the change, which is 8, divided by the original, which was 4. That gives me 8 over 4. That divided gives me the whole number 2. The decimal always behind the whole number. Move that decimal twice to the right. We'll change that 2 into 200%. So it more than doubled. All right, next, price going down, same thing. Subtract to find the change. 10 minus 7 shows me it went down by $3. Divided by the original, which is 10, gives me 3 over 10. And that, using the calculator, 3 button first, divided by 10 button second, gives me 0.3, which moved to the right turns into 30%. All right, up from 60 to 70. Again, find the change. 70, take away 60 gives me the change, divided by the original temperature, which was 60, gives me 10 over 60. If I do 10 first, divided by, and then type in 60, I get the decimal 0.166666. I'm rounding that to 2 decimal places, gives me 0.17. And that is rounded. Again, you got 0.16666 forever, and then that 6 rounded that number up to a 7. That change to a percent is 17%. So know how to round, know how to find percent change, know how to change from a decimal to a percent. All right, exponent rules. For multiplying, I add the exponents. That little x by itself, that's not a 0, that is a 1 right there. So that gives me x to the 8th power. When I'm dividing, you leave the 6 alone. Don't divide this 6 out. Leave the base alone. Only deal with the exponents. So that gives me 6 to the 10 minus 2 power, which is 6 to the 8th. 4 to the 3rd, this distributes and gives me 4 to the 3 times 4, which is 4 to the 12th. X to the negative 5. The rule with negative exponents is to put them over 1, flip them, or find the reciprocal. That 1 goes to the top. That x to the negative 5th goes to the bottom, and when it does, it becomes positive. Always. So when you flip over a negative exponent from top to bottom, it always becomes a positive exponent. Same with the base to a negative power. Still put it over 1. Still flip it so that 1 goes to the top and the 5 to the negative 2 goes to the bottom. When it does, that becomes 5 to the positive second power. Then 5 times 5 is where I get 1 over 25. All right, one more exponent problem. 6 to the negative 3 plus this unknown 1 plus 5 will give me the power on this one. That gives me 6 to the negative 2 plus 5, which is 6 to the 3rd power. All right, solving literal equations. Solving this both for y means to get this y by itself, I need to get rid of all this stuff right here. I need it to go away and have y by itself. So the first step is always adding or subtracting the x term. If this is negative, do the opposite. Add 2x to both sides. These cancel away. Bring down the 4y. Do not add 12 and 2x. Get in the habit of writing the x term first and the plain number second. Now 4 times y, the opposite, is dividing by 4. Divide everything by 4. So that 4's cancel away and gives me y. This splits up into two little mini fractions, so 2x divided by 4 plus 12 divided by 4. And that simplifies into 1/2 x plus 3. Alright, a little harder one. To get this y by itself, first step, subtract 3x because it's already positive. Make sure you bring down the negative with the 5y. That is negative 5y. Bring that negative down. 10 minus 3x, don't subtract them. Write the x term first, negative 3x plus this 10. Now the opposite of timesing by negative 5 is dividing both sides by negative 5. I'm going to show you the split here right away. So that cancels away and just gives me y by itself. This becomes positive 3/5 and negative over negative. 10 divided by negative 5 gives me negative 2. So if you were to graph those, that would have a y-intercept of negative 2 on the y-axis, and then over 5 up 3, over 5 up 3. Alright, the harder ones. For these, you times numbers. Numbers always follow their same rules. Times numbers normal, divide numbers normal. But the exponents, you add them. When you're timesing two exponents, you are adding them together. X to the first plus this x to the third gives me x to the fourth. 4 plus 3 gives me y to the 7th power. Alright, this 2 distributes all the way through. Times that y, times that 2, times the 1 on the 5. Gives me 5 to the 2nd power. X to the 4th power. Y to the 2nd power. That 5 to the 2nd power is never 10. That is 5 times 5 gives me 25. X to the 4th, y squared. Alright, next one. Divide these numbers normal. Divide. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Top minus bottom. 5 to the x. 5 minus 1 power gives me 5x to the 4th. Y to the 7 minus 3 gives me y to the 4th power. Alright, for this one, the rule is do the work on top first before you divide. On top, do the exponent first. So I'm going to leave this first term alone, 4x to the squared, y to the third, and I'm going to take care of this exponent raised to an exponent. So that's going to be 2 to the 3rd power, which is 8, x to the 3rd power, y to the 6th power. Just remember, 2 to the 3rd power is multiplying 3 of those 2's, which gives me 8. That's why 2 to the 3rd power is 8. Divided by 2x squared over y, leave that alone. Now again on top, multiply the two numbers. 8 times 4 gives me 32. Add the exponents. So I get 32 from timesing 8 and 4. X to the 2nd times x to the 3rd is x to the 5th. Y to the 3rd times y to the 6th is y to the 9th. Divided by 2x squared over y. And now you can switch to division. Divide the numbers normal. 16. X to the top minus bottom power gives me 16x to the 3rd power. Y to the top minus bottom gives me y to the 8th power. Alright, hopefully you got some of these answers right. Feel free to stop this video and replay any parts that you need. More practice, the better. Good luck.